If you haven't heard, this is the new Pac-12. In the year 2026, Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, and San Diego State will be joining Washington State and Oregon State in the Pac-12. So the Pac-2 is no longer the Pac-2, it is now the Pac-6, obviously still called the Pac-12. And I think I might refer to it as the six-pack. So what we want to do is simulate the 2026 season with this conference and see how it's going to play out. So before we shake up the conference, let's go ahead and simulate to 2026. That way we can get to the correct year. We are now in the preseason for 2026, so let's go ahead and assemble the six-pack. So here it is in all its glory. Boise State actually finished ranked number 9 in the country this past season. The rest of the teams, as you can see, finished unranked. Boise State is the preseason favorite for the conference. They are ranked number 21 in the preseason polls, and the rest of the teams are unranked. The highest overall team is Oregon State at 82, and the lowest is San Diego State at 77. Each team will play every other member in the conference, so that will be 5 conference games. So let's get this simulation underway. We are 5 weeks into the year, and here you can see the conference standings. Oregon State and Washington State are both 1-0 in the conference. They beat Fresno State and San Diego State. However, Washington State and San Diego State are the only two with a winning record at the moment. Despite Boise State being the only preseason ranked team in the conference, they dropped their first game to Western Kentucky, then lost by 2 to ranked Kennesaw State, and then they ended up also losing to Oregon. So tough start so far for the Broncos. Colorado State, on the other hand, actually got a really big win against Indiana opening week, but then they dropped 3 to Georgia Tech, Texas Tech, Vandy. Fresno State had a brutal start against USC and Miami. Then they dropped their first Pac-12 game to Washington State, and then they beat FCS West. Oregon State lost to SMU, Arizona, Oregon to start the year, but then they get their first Pac-6 win against San Diego State, and then also beat FCS East. San Diego State has probably had the easiest schedule so far, lost to A&M, but beat Jack State and Utah State, and as we just discussed, they lost to Oregon State in their first Pac-6 game, and then also beat Toledo. And then we have Wazoo. I'm not actually controlling this team, by the way. I just decided to pick them. But the Cougars beat Air Force, lost to K-State, got their first Pac-6 win against Fresno State, and then beat FCS Midwest. Here we are about 9 weeks into the season. Boise State is at the top of the Pac-12 rankings. They are 2-0 in the conference, 6-3 overall. Right behind them is Oregon State, 5-3 overall, and 2-0 in the conference. Those are the only 2 remaining undefeated six-pack teams. Here you can see the six-pack stats leaders. Malachi Nelson leads the way with almost 2,400 yards, 29 touchdowns, 4 picks. What a fantastic year so far for Malachi Nelson. Interesting development here. Julian Sayin, the Ohio State transfer, is the starting quarterback for Fresno State. You can see he's having a mediocre year, 1,900 yards, 4 touchdowns, 8 picks. Dubar for Boise State is the leading rusher as he takes over for Ashton Jeanty. And Boise State has the leading passer, rusher, and receiver, as you can see here. Umodu, the leading receiver, with 762 yards. San Diego State linebacker Owen Chambliss is the leading tackler with 67 tackles. And then Washington State DB Kenny Worthy is leading the conference in interceptions. End of the regular season is here. Oregon State is first in the conference with a 4-1 conference record. They have the tiebreaker over Boise State because they have the head-to-head win. Boise State has the best overall record at 8-4. 4 out of the 6 teams are bowl eligible. The 2 that are not are Fresno State and Washington State. Boise State, after starting 1-3, won 7 straight games and then lost the regular season final to Oregon State. But as you can see there at the bottom, they are about to rematch in the six-pack championship, so that is going to be absolutely insane. And their first matchup was a little crazy. Oregon State barely squeaked by 31-28. Boise State made a late fourth quarter push, but it wasn't quite enough. So it is time for the Pac-12, aka the Pac-6, aka the six-pack championship.
History. Looking for the end zone. And it's caught. Touchdown Broncos.
And man, is that perfect timing. You can tell quarterback drops back, he sees his guy, and he knows he's open, but watch the throw.
They've already squandered a couple of chances to score touchdowns in the red zone, and now another opportunity. It's 3rd and goal. Fires into the end zone, and he's got it. Touchdown, Oregon State.
Offense dialed up the pressure, but the offense had a better play call. They ran it away from the blitz, and that's why they were...
Touchdown, Beaver! And with that, they've got the lead here in the second half.
Quarterback's ability to read the field is huge. And
Slams it ahead. Going right back to the well, and this time he finds water. Gets it into the end zone for the touchdown.
Everybody wants to go for it on fourth down. At the end of the day, it still comes down to managing. Good decision by the head coach here in the 4th quarter. Get some push and ball security, David. That's what we're aiming for.
yes, take care of the football. Don't make any dumb mistakes. Be physical. And listen, if they want to load the box, don't be...
So that does it. The Oregon State Beavers win the 2026 Six-Pack Conference Championship. Braden Fowler Nicolosi ends up leading the six-pack in passing yards. Malachi Nelson had an injury that prevented him from playing the last few games, so you can see he fell down there. Only 2,400 yards on the year, and that might have ended up costing them the six-pack championship. Here are the Pac-12 standings heading into bowl week. Oregon State obviously at the top, Boise State right behind them. San Diego State, Colorado State, Fresno State, and then Wazoo at the bottom. Boise State loses the Hawaii Bowl to Notre Dame 38-24. So Boise State drops their last 3 games, 2 of those to Oregon State. Colorado State loses to number 16 Colorado 30-14 in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, but Deion Sanders is no longer the coach of Colorado in 2026. Oregon State wins their last 3 games, 2 against Boise State, and then this one against Nevada in the Armed Forces Bowl. And then lastly, San Diego State takes down Akron in the Camellia Bowl 34-20. So this is how the 2026 season ends. Oregon State finishes 9-5, Boise State 8-6, San Diego State 7-6, Colorado State 6-7, Fresno State 5-7, Washington State 4-8. Obviously, the six-pack definitely does not have a team in the college football playoff, as they do not get that auto bid, and none of these teams were good enough to get an at-large bid. So we'll have to revisit this video in 2 years and see if this is actually how the season plays out. But I am glad the Pac is back. Pac-12 After Dark is some of the best football out there. I didn't make a video about it, but I also wanted to say there was a small update this morning for College Football 25. You can now edit the numbers of non-NIL players within online dynasties. So just a few days ago, we got it in offline dynasties, and now it's in online dynasties as well. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're enjoying videos just like this one. Follow me on Instagram at BringNCAA Back. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok at TubbyLight.